we don't know.
Yeah.
We are not ready to really know how good a Breon that is 0-6 truly is. And T1 wasn't ready. That's the reality of the situation. I am sure that the takeaway is Tristana's fine. And Karis can just gap him. It's okay.
Uh-oh.
I don't
change.
I don't think that should be a takeaway, but I think that's what we're looking towards here in this game number 3. And you know what? Okay, man, bro, they deserve our faith after last game. And oh my god! Karis getting the ban.
Azir too strong right now.
Now we do ban Tristana, right? With the Azir gone.
They didn't ban Sejuani. So...
I know.
You...
No, it's fine. Faker will just jump into everything again. It's actually a really good idea. And T1 seems to agree with them, which is perhaps the most baffling thing out of all of this.
You know, the more you know, the more you can say you don't know.
It's like I said,
right?
We don't actually know anything. Clearly, we have our priorities wrong. With T1 just prioritizing the Sejuani.
Well, it worked for Bro, right?
Bro
so...
yeah, I just feel like the circumstances of the game do really matter on that one.
Nah.
But we're back.
It's unimportant.
I do really like, though, and we're memeing a lot, and I think that's warranted. I do want to highlight, and I really appreciate, though, that Youngjae is going for Maokai here, not Nidalee, because given the priority, I think it's a good matchup into Sejuani. It's one of the best matchups, and the reason why she started coming up in the first place. And it is a matchup, or a champion that obviously at the moment is insanely strong. But I really do not want to see Youngjae playing Nidalee because of what Breon needs. I think Breon, in the last game, showed Youngjae. I think it's fair that he didn't get any votes, but I imagine he was second on most people's list. His ganks were great. He was very proactive, making a lot of moves around the map, secured a couple of key smites as well.
He didn't do as much boom boom damage as Sombra did, though, so...
Yeah,
I think Sombra was at least second for a couple of media members.
And also, to be fair, Sombra did actually play a clean game of League of Legends, so it's not as bad of a boom boom damage vote as some other ones I've seen. Morgan gets one of his comfort picks in the Jax. I do think Jax into Gnar is a matchup that can go very wrong very quickly if the Jax starts falling behind. If you stay even, obviously, eventually inside lane, you'll have enough ability haste to just stay on top of him and take him down. The respect being paid here is really nice. I do think that Sejuani in particular is one of those picks where I know that realistically you don't need to play her with melee characters, but it really feels so much better when she does. And Gnar obviously has, you know, Mega Gnar, but that's not really a great representation as we do have the Ziggs. Man, actually really like that. Samver could have definitely gone towards that, like Ziggs Leona here.
Yeah.
They do have Maokai as well for extra setup. They already have double AD.
Ezreal is available, though. I feel like Leona, though, is being prioritized above Ezreal when it comes to that duo. They say, well, Leona can go with a lot of things. As Zyra Khan, this was a winning duo in the final game of EWC. Not necessarily because this duo is super strong, but we do have a lot of other bans towards AD carries and stuff that can go on the bot lane already in this game, so they just opt for that duo once again. As it could have been the Ezreal, but instead, it's just going to be Jhin.
I do kind of like the Jhin here. I think the Jhin works well with Maokai in particular. I think that's one of those 1-2s that can be quite oppressive if you do get a decent amount of leads, the amount of traps, saplings you can place down. And realistically, Zyra Khan should lose lane as well against Jhin Leona. So if you have a losing bot lane, you get to snowball through that mid-jungle as well. I actually really like the draft that Breon have here. Now, I do think the T1 comp is infinitely more stable. You have Rakan, you have Sejuani. The Xayah, though, I'm not super enthusiastic about. I think Xayah does kind of struggle into comps that outrange her, and Tristana obviously is naturally just going to outrange with drawing her beads, and then Jhin doesn't really have to walk into range with his ultimate and his W as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there is a decent shot for Bro to come in here and take it down. We did see that say that we liked the T1 draft in Game 2 as well. But I love that sign in the bottom left. Yeah. It's time to go to bed. Yeah, it is.
For for T1 because Brian is gonna beat them, right? VODS?
I think it's just saying, like, I think they are sleepy and they might want to sleep. But they're not allowed to. They're here doing their job. They're pros.
Gotta get another game in. And this draft, it's a lot of comfort for T1. I think it's the most cohesive, though. And maybe, imagine if Brian's first series win is an upset against T1.
Could happen right here, right now, as they force a game number 3 against T1 already. Can they take down the series is the main question. As looks like we are ready, let's hop into the rip for game number 3. The Brian fans getting more feisty as the day gets along and as the games slowly but surely go in their favor.
I miss feisty. Sad he didn't make it to the
What are Loopy and Gamin up to?
So Gamin, I actually have no idea. Loopy was on DK, but he's now been replaced by Mr. 2K LP himself, Moham, who you might remember from playing for Kwangdong last split. Together with Wayne. We don't know if he's related to Bruce, but we assume so.
I think he's related to... I think he named himself after Wayne Gretzky, actually. A big ice hockey fan, obviously. This Korean pro gamer.
What do you think is more likely, VODS?
You know, I've heard before that Korean pro gamers sometimes just like to choose random names, right? Or like random words, English words, right? Because they have to have an English name as their ID. And some pros use their own name and they just Romanize it. Of course, that's acceptable. Think about Yahoo. But yeah. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if he just chose Wayne because he likes the way it sounded.
That's a good name. I don't mind it. As we do see Jin in some struggles here. A lot of those, though, were, you know, games where I'm like, that team has not got a whole lot of wins. So Karis is Tristanaing, as you do. So a lot of damage goes down onto Samper, unfortunately. Being Jin just has to reload his gun. Keria sets up a nice pullback for Guma.
He's still fooling us all. He's just running around reloading.
Just doing nothing.
Like, we think he's actually doing damage, but that's false. No, he's just running around in circles reloading.
I really don't mind Jin as much as I know some members of the LCK team do.
I wonder how Atlas feels after they won with Jin Bard.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of high stakes Jin games as well.
Yeah.
So Semper playing it, you know, Semper's
nice,
quite solid
here, but it does put Paolo in an awkward spot. That is one place where, well, that's a nice little stun. He's going to push him into the turret, but actually Faker's in a lot of trouble. The solo kill again as Karis will go down and has to use his flash to do it, but he gets that extra 100 gold.
Ooh, I wonder if there was an opportunity there, maybe if, because I think he hesitated for a second there, where maybe he gets the reset and jumps out. I don't think that he does, though. I think the turret will always get him. Not that bad, though. The wave was also pushing back into him, as long as he doesn't get punished by Oner, who is sniffing around the jungle. He's looking with the boar.
The boar is doing the sniffa emote right now.
Yeah,
I can see it. Look. It's happening. Now, Young Jay's going to find the boar and Sejuani. As, yeah, Oner's just 1v2 right now, and he's in a bit of trouble. They want to try to turn this. Nice knock-up, but Oner's just so low. The flash over the wall, the Q gets it done, as Oner does not respect the 2v1. And now Faker's in a lot of trouble himself. He has to flash, so there goes your flash advantage, as even now Karis' flash will come up first.
VODS?
It's happening. All the Believers will be rewarded for their belief, for their faith.
They have been waiting. It would, oh man, that would be something. If T1, who are currently obviously, you know, sitting at 4-2, one of those losses against Gen G, The other one against KT, if they lose against Brian as well, be very funny. So take another look at this. Faker, unfortunately, like being a level down, I think, especially in the early levels, really matters. So even though he gets the setup and is able to knock Kara's back into the turret, this I don't know, Oner.
Yeah.
You're playing into Tristana.
So
like Tristana is a really, really easy time to get to you.
Yeah. For you guys who may not have noticed yet, Tristana does have a move called Rocket Jump, which allows her to go over terrain. So
yes,
when that happens, Karis is there as well as Youngjae, making it a 2v1.
Nautilus also has a decent amount of, or Maokai rather has a decent amount of CC.
Yeah.
And, you know, his,
a little bit.
His W and his Q, so he can lock you up for a good amount of time.
Good damage. I mean, his base damage is quite good, right? Especially into a Sejuani before she's built much tanky items.
Yep. Youngjae, as a result, picks up an early kill. Gets himself a Haunting Guys, going to be very happy with that. Now, this isn't like game number 2, I think, where Brian was able to get a pretty sizable lead and then just run with it. I need to keep the expectations realistic, okay? I think Brian have had a lot of issues with actually closing out games. Right now, though, things are looking okay. As long as we don't look towards top CS, that
doesn't matter.
Morgan,
it's not real.
Did pick that.
We do have a wall coming down here, but everybody gets over the wall. So T1 should be able to take both of
they're going back.
Scrubs. Wait, they're okay.
Okay, they're not going back.
They did go back.
Yes. I really think they shouldn't have. So that's good that they don't. It's a bit worried for a second there because Morgan is not in a position to join. And even with Zeus not having Mega, you run a big risk if you just walk up there. See if they make a play towards the bottom half of the map. Kuma is looking like he is going to respect, as he should, but he does get the crash. So I don't think he's too bothered. Oh, very close. Yeah, so if you're not familiar with the lore, Zeus' Gnar was the pick he debuted on, and it was... He was really, really good with this champion.
Yeah.
And I saw the Jax counter pick, and I'm like...
Nope.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
And now seeing it in play as well, I'm like, I still don't...
I don't know about that one.
I don't know about that one, yeah. Generally, with counter picks, you're not really looking to take a big hit. Because if the Jax is picked, like... Because the Jax was picked third, right? First rotation on blue side. So it feels like they didn't have to do that. Because if you deny like Jax Sejuani or something, I think it makes sense, but they didn't.
Yeah, no, they didn't. Nice buffer here from Karis. He's going to get out of dodge there. He's doing a very nice job. Tristana-ing. They did get the dragon, yeah. I think Bro are in a pretty good spot at this moment in time, especially with Karis pretty fed. The top lane, as we mentioned before, doesn't exist. It's not real, so we don't think about that
but
when we factor this in.
Zeus just pulled the wave, and there's no jungler. Well, Youngjae eventually will get there, but he also has always camps up. So I think Morgan is just... Oh, no, Jonas Strong! Hand away!
Yeah, it's real whenever Jonas Strong decides it's real, so now... we can take a look, especially with Mega Gnar timing here. It's just perfect from Zeus. And
this is a nightmare. This is a truly abhorrent wave state here for Morgan. Really good job by Zeus. And like, how are you going to fix this? As if Talia doesn't show, even without the ultimate, she can roam very quickly. I'm gonna catch the wave in mid now, so this should give them the opportunity to roam towards top and maybe break the freeze, but. There's a lot of vision as well. So someone needs to go and help more. He's been sitting at like 55 CS for like a minute and a half.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Bro have also decided that top lane is not real. And
but it is!
Yeah, Morgan's dead. He does have flash, so maybe he can flash out of this one, but the hop has larger range, and there's the counter-strike flash on in from Oner, and the boomerang gets the job done. So the inevitable punish that we were talking about, that you called Chronicler, does come through on top of this ES that was denied.
And he has no TP.
He's so far behind.
So they had to just go up. I know that you might have to drop a wave in mid, but this is really, really bad. Because as mentioned earlier, I think this is a very volatile matchup, where if you do get Morgan ahead, like he can start running down the Gnar, and obviously Jax does have a lot of 1v1 potential. But like once you start losing against a ranged top, That's already bad. Losing against Zeus is like... I know Zeus has really embraced his flippy nature of, you know, like I'm playing the ranged top laners and I'm going in aggressively, and sometimes it looks really goofy. But I do also really think he's one of the best, like, punishing players that we have in the LCK. I think when it comes to things like teamfight, Keen definitely isn't beat at the moment, but...
I don't think Morgan can do this either.
No,
like, even though his lane state
not.
is really destroyed, like, he can't be killing a control ward.
I agree.
Zero vision, like, Oner could easily be there.
And he uses his flash as well. It's a disaster, Veldas. And now you have a Gnar who is going to make that lane even worse. Like, he's going to hit Triforce first because he's up 1k gold. And then Morgan is just going to have to sit there and eat waves. And this Jax is not going to be relevant for another, like, 25 minutes unless he picks up a bunch of random kills across the map. Like, even with bone plating, like, look at that trade. It wasn't even a trade. It's just say he's standing there and be like,
yeah,
whatever.
He doesn't have a completed damage component yet. He does have one sword, so that's better than nothing, I guess. Looks like T1 are going to take down 5 grubs unless Karis and Palu can say something about it. Here they come, but the Mega Gnar timing is also going to go down, but now the engage comes in from Keria. Here's another wall, and Palu is in a lot of trouble as he has to flash away, but the knockup is going to catch Karis out of midair. The turn, trying to come out, though. Karis pushing forward, jumping into everybody. He does get the kill, and he jumps away. Karis able to make it happen. Only Palu has gone down. As now Morgan trying to be relevant, and I think, unfortunately, the timer has run out on this fight as Zeus is going to come in, and there's the knockup from Keria as well. And the Gnar is too strong. It was looking so good, but eventually the fight went too long, and Zeus just popped off.
Oh, that's so rough there for Brian. It looked attainable. Wasn't the case. In the end, Zeus just gets even further ahead. Morgan doesn't even get a kill. Doesn't even get gold for his troubles.
And they still get all the grubs.
T1, earlier on the rotation there, I think crucial as well. Karis doesn't actually get the kill because he jumps into the Rakan charm. So he doesn't actually get the final auto off until much later. So them trying to go for this fight, even though they're member down, Karis actually plays this really well, right? They get the jump, but then look here. He jumps on top, and I think that extra amount of time, you know, Keria is able to just make his way out. And then here, Morgan, Oner just dragging him away for a little bit. Counter-Strike doesn't mean anything. And we see T1. Zeus now even further ahead. He's Triforce, he's 3-0, he's up 40 CS. This Gnar is a real raid boss. We'll see if Brilliant can at the very least get a second dragon. It would be big.
Uh-oh. Oh, the smite is good. It's early from Oner. And Young Jake keeps his cool, is able to hold on to it. We got Ocean Soul in this game.
Ooh, okay. That'll help Morgan if they get it. I
don't think anything's helping Morgan in this game.
Well, I'm talking in like 25 minutes when he has items. You know?
All right.
This was a counter.
We'll check in 38 minutes into the game.
Well, this was a counter pick. I know it's hard to get counters to Gnar, but especially Zeus' Gnar, but this definitely wasn't it. I think Morgan's dead again.
Well, the very least, gonna miss. So.
Yeah.
He stays alive for now.
Maybe Faker could. Yeah, but does he really? I know he isn't. You know, his screen isn't gray, but
yeah.
We got to talk about other stuff. I'm getting bummed out. This every top laner knows this feeling.
Well, we have a cleanse flash from Samver, so he does get away as Keria was just very menacingly sprinting at him with the quickness. And well, at least Morgan's gonna farm here, but not over there to the left. That's Zeus territory. Everything outside of the turret. Actually, even next to the turret, I'm a little bit not 100% sure about. And it's going to be Morgan going bot here to go up against Guma for now, as the rest of the team is going to commit to the Rift Herald. You just had your top laner TP out of this one, and Zeus has his TP. So
there he comes.
Now Guma isn't here, and the turn is coming in, but the Rakan play is fantastic. Is it enough to save Oner? As, that Blasco not going to help him actually, as Karis, he is on something today, and the shots from the Jhin are so big from Samver. As now we do have Zeus, he is isolated, and they get the shutdown onto Morgan as well. Bro are coming back, they call the bluff of T1.
That's a game-saving fight, VODS, because you get the shutdown onto Morgan of all people, and the call from Brion is actually really good because if T1 actually has Zeus there for the entirety of that fight, you're never ever winning it. But what happens is they pull the trigger, they go for the engage, T1 isn't ready, they get blown up before they can actually have their members' advantage, and now... Okay, they still don't look at top, but the rest of the map all of a sudden in much better shape.
Wait, he's 2,700 gold behind still. He got the shutdown. Oner goes in,
we're not focusing on this.
Checks it again, and the second check is the issue here.
It really is. And I actually think this could have gone worse. If Youngjae ults earlier there, I'm pretty sure Keria also ends up dying.
Yeah.
So like this is... I think a relatively okay scenario, and then, yeah, you know, by the time Guma shows up, the fight's already lost. Morgan just walks up to his tormentor, takes him down, so that's nice at least. Again, that part isn't going to change too much, but Samver, you know, getting some gold into him is big. Kara is also, again, I know his KDA won't be too impressive, but still having a big performance here in this game. Brion, they're down 3k gold. If they can get one more of those fights, though, it might be looking a little bit better. But yeah, I think they have to give this up. With the members' advantage there, we do see Samver is on his way. He doesn't have the ultimate just yet, and he can't walk for this jungle. This is T1 territory.
Well, it's going to be Guma getting engaged on as Palu wants to deny the T1 territory, as now we got TPs coming in here. Guma in a lot of trouble. He's not able to Featherstorm until the very last moment, but the pullback is huge. It doesn't matter. Karis is on the hunt once again, charging into multiple members as down will go Faker.
They're doing it!
And Morgan, he's got another Counter-Strike. He's going to live, bro. They're winning another fight, down 3k, as the hit here from Youngjae is huge. He stays alive, but the Meganar not going to be enough. Karis is just going off in this one. Karis and Samver, they sub in for game number 2. They shut it down in game number 3 as well, and bro, they're still behind, but they're coming back.
That's an ace! Where were you when Brion aced T1? Oh, it starts off here with Guma getting caught, but it's fine. It's Zaya. You're not scared of this. But then again, this aggression of T1, sometimes it backfires, and here it really does. The combination of CC there, Flash Q, Counter-Strike, yeah, Guma ends up living, but there's so much mobility here. And then look at how many autos Karis gets to have in this fight. And then Samver, this is what you want to be as a Jhin. You don't want to be the main carry. You want to sit there, take pot shots on the edge of the fight. And T1, again, look disjointed. Zeus with the flash, like, yeah, he kills the Maokai, but that's all that they're getting. As VODS highlighted, still behind in gold. I think maybe once this mid lane turret falls, it'll be relatively even. But if they can get the Ocean's Soul Point on this next play, ultimates are going to be up. It'll be really, really big.
Absolutely.
Still 2k gold down.
I mean, they've won 2 fights. One was down 5k, the other one was down 2k, essentially.
Yeah, you're right, VODS.
3k. And, you know, T1 still haven't fought on their terms yet. So let's see how this one looks as the ult goes straight into Youngjae. That's not going to be good. A lot of damage being thrown into Palu. Those are not the right targets for T1, but Palu eventually does get low. The steal on the Dragon as well. And Youngjae is low himself. A lot of low health bars here on the side of T1. Faker going to be isolated. And now a forced Featherstorm as well from Samver onto Guma. As meanwhile, Youngjae trying to go 1v2 against Keria and Zeus, not really working out, but Karis once again unchecked, and the frontliner that is Morgan is huge as another hop comes in. Karis looking to take down Guma and Oner, not going to be able to, but does push them away.
Oh, and the gold lead remains about the same, even though the kill trade favorable for Brion. They are going to get this mid lane turret now, finally. And the bros are doing it. Look at the fans.
The bro leavers.
They never gave up, VODS. As of right now, they've won 4 games this split. 4! And these team fights are games. Just want to really, really clarify that. So here we get an isolation, or rather we had Palu and Keria in isolation. For Keria, though, it's a lot easier to get back. And they do end up killing Palu. The big thing, though, is that against Jhin in particular, actually exiting gracefully is insanely hard. And Morgan, as you highlighted, actually does such a good job. The fourth shot means that Guma has to ult defensively. I do think Brion kind of lost track of the fight happening. We have Karis like could have probably jumped towards Youngjae earlier so that they could get more out of that. But crucially, Morgan still cuts off the escape, and they still get more gold onto those carries. Morgan, somehow in this game, is relevant. He's just making it happen.
He's got a bounty.
Fights. He's got a bounty.
The Lord himself.
And I also think it's really important to note that, yes, we know T1 still has a slight gold lead. And how much does it matter? I think the T1 composition scales really well, so I don't think they're too worried. When you look at this in isolation, right, between Xayah, between Gnar. But how does this game feel? If you're T1?
It feels like a Tristana playground right now. Like, they're using everything into Leona, into Maokai, and then Karis is jumping from person to person and getting a million assists. Like, he's not getting kills, which is kind of funny, but he's just unchecked. And Samver, there's no engage on him either, as now, maybe an opportunity here for T1 as Palu a bit out of position. Youngjae being chased as well, as Palu might just have to be left here as a sacrifice. The wall does come down, and Palu not even going to flash. So down goes the bro supports. As T1 now, they're not going to be asking twice. They're just going to go for the Baron.
Yeah, big thing here is that they also used a lot of cooldowns. Samver does have his ultimate. I think that Jhin ult is going to be big.
Oh, the flash on in. They want to isolate. Zeus says the Steric shield is massive, though, and now a huge Gnar ult is going to win this one for T1. You would imagine Morgan being chased down, and he will eventually go down as well. Samver still firing shots. Oner trying to block here. Faker still going to eat a bunch of damage. A lot of poke did go down onto T1. Even the sapling, you talked about this actually in the draft as well. That's not going to hit Youngjae, but Samver looks like he will be isolated and killed. So it does work out in the end for T1. And now they're going to start the back.
And T1, they take a beating, but they still come out on top. Zeus can be back in 10 seconds as well, as can Karis. Youngjae, crucially, he doesn't have an easy way in, doesn't have his flash available. I don't know if he can get the W off. I think they should be able to zone him away. The health bars are low, but I don't think it's going to matter. And T1 get the Baron. That should be enough to regain control of this game.
Yeah, you would imagine. I mean, finally T1 find an answer in a team fight as something was flying across the map there. I don't know what that was. So this is what happens, bro. They're invading. They say, hey, we have a disengage cone, we should be fine. Baited by disengage cone, not the first time. Palu is going to get isolated and taken down. And then the fight goes very wonky, but this one looks very different from all the other fights where Karis doesn't get any CC on him and he's just jumping around. Speaking of which, in live, we have him being bullied and down he will go. So T1, they find him, they save their CC for him, and Oner will make it happen.
The Magic Mind had paused. Brion going to try and look for something here. No ult on Samver though. So Youngjae just going for an ult to try and keep this mid lane turret alive for a little bit longer. If on the next wave it is still going to drop. T1, all they needed was that one fight. Ends up being absolutely huge. One overstep. Crucially there as well as Faker actually a lot earlier on the TP. I think if they were able to anticipate that, play a little bit safer, they might have been fine, especially with how good the disengage on Maokai ult is, but it just wasn't there for Brion. And now kill score, that one's even. Everything else though looking like T1 back in the driver's seat. So we take another look here. The attempt, they do spot out crucially Keria. Like if they actually get the kill on Zeus, that fight's win. I actually really like the call from Brion there. I think that's the only way that you get out of that.
It's close.
It was. If he wasn't as fed as he was, that could have been huge.
He wouldn't have the Sterics, he wouldn't live. And this is what happened afterwards. This is how Karis got caught. Just trying to trade with Zeus and a nice flash, but then eventually, you know, the rest of the squad rolls up.
Yeah, nice ult from Zeus there. It's a messy game, VODS. That can't be denied. But it does feel like Brion's moment, unless they can get another insane team fight, might have passed. And now we see Morgan, right? Even with him becoming a little bit more relevant, still a full item behind. Renwin's done for Zeus here.
Yeah, and the Randuin's is just massive. I mean, you look at the composition of Bro.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you mentioned it, Chronicler, if we talked about it much, but the damage profile, it's just very heavy AD, especially when you have the Jax, which is a heavy auto attacker. It just feels like, you know, armor in general, but also the Randuins against the 280 carries that are going to build crit. It's going to just feel amazing. And they've got Maokai for AP, which I know you hate.
I mean,
a little bit of Jax as well, you know.
Yeah, Jax can go Zhonya's 4th, but like that doesn't really do it. Yeah, that's not enough.
So Zeus is just unkillable, is the point. As now we do have this Maokai ultimate to be thrown in. And it doesn't do much. Not going to push them off of the inhibitor either. And they just get the inhibitor and get out.
Samver really needs LDR. We see Karis does have it done now, so that's going to help at least a little bit. Yeah, the expectation is T1 is just going to continue building full armor. We see Oner as well, Bramblefest in his inventory already. Imagine he wants to look towards a Thorn Mail.
This is a very interesting fight as the Solar Flare goes very wide and Morgan's dead and so is Palu.
I guess that's just it.
Just not expecting
them to stay.
That
can't be how it ends.
Just not expecting them to stay, and they're like, hey, maybe they're here. Oh, we're dead. T1's wallets are very large at this point in time. As here comes the quickness. Karis will be caught this time around as the follow-up comes in, and Karis does hop away, but Oner also very tanky, and again, Zeus is unkillable. It looks like T1, they've had their fun tonight, but at the end of the day, they will just pick up the clean 2-1, nothing to see here, up against Bro. Eventually, maybe not right now, but looks like we're heading in that direction, guys.
Really does. Mid lane inhib goes down as well. T1 can just go back, set up an objective. These shots, I don't think we're gonna let Faker get hit. I think that the reinforcements were very ready for that one. Even if he does, shouldn't go down off of just one shot. For Breon, from here on out, it's looking really rough. That mid lane inhib by itself, I don't think the end of the world. But as you were saying, I think they were looking for some extra kills here. T1, like everyone is there though, so it doesn't really do a whole lot. Morgan gets CC'd. Faker like simultaneously kills Morgan while also locking off the rest of Breon, so they don't get to join. Faker almost ends up going down, but it doesn't really matter. Crucially, Karis does get hit by the E, which makes life very easy for Zeus as he walks in with his Gnar. And I think we're seeing some of the glimpses as to why this guy was known for Gnar initially, even though it's not by any means a clean game. Really, I think the only one playing a clean game on T1 is just Guma.
Yeah.
He's just been good. You know.
He's had a very...
Yeah, and even he had the I'm going in the enemy blue jungle to try and kill a Leona. That was a moment.
Nobody is...
Nobody comes out unscathed.
Yeah, exactly. As now we're looking for the Gnar here once again, but Young Jay just unfortunately not that tanky. He's only got Warmogs, and Eliandres is a lot of damage just coming out actually from the 80 carries of Bro, but I feel like the wallets are just too heavy as now Faker gets in that backline and Karis eventually will be taken down by the Gnar. And here comes Zeus bouncing over that wall. The knockup will miss, but yeah, I'm just gonna throw an ult into the wind. Why not? That's what I would do.
It's a revitalized Breon, but it just isn't enough. T1, in the end, rely on their team fighting. Faker might die. I don't think it matters.
He's baiting them in. Samver just going to open up the curtains and immediately gets flashed on by Zeus. He's like, how dare you open the curtains against us? And it's not going to happen. We'll keep that room in darkness for now. Down will go the Nexus, and T1